Hi, everybody. It is September the 17th, 2025, and Chapter 2 is ready of How Everything Works. The title may change slightly, however, Chapter 2 is ready. And Chapter 2 is titled The Body as Receiver. I used to think for a very long time that I was blocked, slow, less than, a lot less than. For much of my life, I believed somehow I wasn't right. I laugh now, of course. But at the time, I believed I couldn't do, couldn't feel, couldn't be what others seemed capable of. I thought there was something wrong with me. I was trying to fit in. In truth, my body had been fine all along. I simply didn't recognize or trust the signals it was giving me. At a recent meeting, I found myself standing my ground. When I was asked to stop, I stood firm and requested the moment to speak. And I took it and spoke. Well, afterward, when I got home, I felt almost buoyant. Then the old doubt arrived. Had I been too forceful? Had I gone too far? What I felt on reflection was not excess. It was release. My body had opened to the current of flow. In the moment I spoke, steadiness arose from somewhere deeper than thought. That buoyancy I felt afterwards was my body saying yes. Speak your truth. This is alignment. Later, in a dream, I was shown what had always been true. The body is a receiver. Every cell, every nerve ending, every strand of hair carries its own depth of sensing, tuned to its own frequency. The skin picks up one frequency, the nerves another. Every nerve has its own, each cell has another. I had never been blocked. I simply lacked the language to interpret what I felt. Knowing comes as a feeling. It arrives in the body. Knowing cannot always be told or neatly placed into words. It comes, for me, as a blooming awareness within the body, a sensation that is itself a knowing, a message. All my life, I've been trying to conform to a system that is sick and it's dying. Still, the messages tried to get through. The tightness in the belly before decision, the contraction, the heaviness and condensing in the chest, prickles across the skin when something felt off, electrical goosebumps when something felt right, the sudden buoyancy, like recently after speaking. These were never silences. They were transmissions. My body was never mute or broken. It is highly tuned, just like all our bodies. To begin receiving more clearly, a simple grounding practice arrived after sitting in meditation. I closed my eyes and was reminded of, the Star of David. And when I asked for explanation, a practice unfolded. I touch thumb and middle finger together, a seal of presence. I breathe down into my belly, a root in the body. And then I gently engage my core, my upper stomach muscles, letting the spine lengthen and rise so the channel is clear from base to crown. In that posture, I imagine a glowing triangle within me. Base across the hips, point at the crown, seal, root, clear. It felt awkward at first, belly expanding, core engaging. Perfection is not required. What matters is that the body is tuned and aligned, and that each small gesture helps align it to the broadcast always flowing. Then I was showed the complement. So the triangle, the glowing triangle pointing up, and the complement, the subtle downward triangle, the apex or point at the pelvis, base spanning across the shoulders, descending gently into the body. As the two meet, the upward and downward triangles interlace into the Star of David, the seal of Solomon, a two-dimensional form of the living, spinning tetrahedron, the Merkabah. The geometry is not fixed. It vibrates. It is alive with motion. When the downward triangle descends, it often rests like a baseline across our shoulders, the place where so many of us carry burdens that were never ours to bear. Those burdens are part of the old sick system, the old paradigm, an inherited illusion of responsibility. Now, as the triangles merge and the Oversoul's presence arrives, we begin to remember who we are. Weight is not required. The shoulder line lightens. The base line of the star loosens. This geometry teaches we do not need burden. We do not need weight in order to be accepted, to be good, or to be loved. Nothing is required to be carried as additional weight. We can simply be. We are learning, remembering to simply be. Steve Judd, the astrologer, says there's a difference between human beings and humans being. Now, standing my ground in that meeting with steadiness for me is an ongoing choice, a practice. The body is the antenna. The triangles shown are enough for now. Later, a larger geometry will unfold. But in this now moment, it is enough to know my body has always been receiving. I am remembering a language, the language of the body. I am remembering, remembering God, Source, whatever you refer to as the bigger part of us as. The great I am, not separate, not always above us, but within. You are, I am, both. The architect dialogues, and the experiencer of my life. Under that framing, the architect is the higher self, what we now call the Oversoul. You are moving now through a period of experiencing where the Oversoul, as a result of your asking, allowing, trusting, being, is experiencing through you, as you. You have opened the gates through trust and allowing flow. Your oversoul is you, no longer under the heavy blanket of fear. You are lighter energetically and physically. The concrete blocks that held you down are lifting. You see what trust, grace, love, and freedom can do, and you are moving toward fully experiencing the Oversoul while still in form. That became in meditation. The Oversoul must be asked to take the driver's seat, and they say, you have done this. Now you get to sit in the passenger seat, enjoying the experience. A delicious ride in a new kind of game, a new kind of life, a new chapter in a new awareness of the gifts your body and soul have always had. Remember, you have always had this, all of this. And I asked, why now? And the answer came, because you have asked, served, and done the inner work, allowing the tears, sat with the feelings, learned you will not break. And after the tears have been shed and the feelings fully felt, they no longer need to be held. Feelings are not meant to be poked or stored away. They are meant to be processed through the body. As they rise to the surface, we do not ignore them or turn aside. We acknowledge them, allow them, and let them move as energy through us. In my case, it was often tears that opened the release valve. For others, it can be movement, exercise, breath, song, however they come. When feelings are given space to be experienced, the body clears and freedom flows. I expand by allowing. I trust by allowing. I remember by allowing. I love by allowing. I listen by allowing. And whatever else we do, all we do can be a conscious choice or an unconscious allowing. A simple compass followed. Containment was number 1. I hold steady within. 2. Spiral. I extend with coherence. 3. Broadcast. I resound naturally. 4. Acknowledgement. I am mirrored in others. 5. Expansion. I expand by allowing. The filters that once kept me small, the layers, so many layers I pulled over my speech to fit in, are being removed. Speak your truth. Ground. Remember who you are. And then a practice came with that. Another practice. It's to do with partners. So, this practice can be shared between 2 people. One sits in stillness, while the other, with gentle presence, hovers or rests hands lightly above the shoulders. As the downward triangle of Source descends, let the shoulder line lighten, the baseline of the star loosening, and together affirm, all that I have carried, I give to Source. I remember who I am. The partner's hands act as witness and channel for the release, reminding the body that burden is illusion and presence is enough. To complete the practice, both participants sit quietly for 3 breaths. Then imagine a gentle cascade of light washing from crown to feet. This light clears what has been released and dissolves any residue carried by the one offering their hands. A grounding breath follows, roots to earth, exhale to stillness, and together affirm all that has been carried has been returned to source. All is clear. We stand grounded and whole. That's chapter 2. Have fun. Thanks for watching.